Hello bookish people, welcome back to my channel. My name is Megan and today I have 20 fall book recommendations for you guys. I have a little bit of everything. I have YA and I have adult, and then within that I have like romance, fantasy, mystery, graphic novels. We got it all. Let's get into it. This is probably one of my favorite times a year to read books. I just love the fall atmosphere. I love the fall vibes in books, and also be warned, like the amount of times I'm about to say fall vibes and atmosphere in this book, it's probably gonna make you want to throw up because I know I'm gonna say it a lot of times, apologizing in advance. I just love fall time, and I think it's because I live in Florida. I mean, I know a lot of people love like fall, but me living in Florida, I don't experience fall. It is literally 80 to 90 degrees like all year round. Maybe it's gonna get like 70 degrees, but like that's it. So I romanticize fall in my head so much. Like my dream, what I love to think about is like when I think about fall is like walking down a street like downtown Asheville. You have like the beautiful like downtown vibes and like, you know, like the cool like wood intricate details on the shops, and it's like drizzling rain. I'm sipping a pumpkin spice latte. I'm walking down the street. I'm like bundled up because it's chilly. That like, oh my god, I love that. Thought of that just makes me so happy, and that is the vibes I want to get from my books in fall time. Like I can't experience that every day. That's what I want to get in my books. So let's get into it. I'm going to start off with the YA stuff first, then we're going to get into the adult stuff, and I'm very excited. So I hope you guys actually read some of these books. And if you guys have read any of these and you love these, like comment down below, because the other people need to be convinced to read these books. The first book on this list is Serpent Dub by Shelby Mahurin. So in this book, we're following Lou and Reed. Lou is a witch and Reed is a witch hunter, and because of chaotic circumstances, they are forced to marry each other. So Lou, being a witch, has to conceal her identity from her new husband, and she moves into him, and he lives in this building of witch hunters. So she is surrounded by witch hunters, so she basically has to conceal her identity the whole time and not perform magic, because in this world magic smells. So like if she does any magic, they'll be able to smell it. And then also too, because she's a witch and a witch hunter, it makes the perfect setup for an enemies to lovers story. I absolutely love this book so much. It's YA fantasy romance is how I would describe it, and it's just such a fun time. There is valid criticism of this book that the world building isn't that great and isn't that fleshed out, and I would agree with that criticism, but I still gave it 5 stars because it's such a fun time, and I think this is a series that you will fly through. It's actually a trilogy, and all 3 books are out and published. The trilogy is over, so if you read this one and you love it, you can also binge the other 2, which is Blood and Honey and Gods and Monsters. Again, highly recommend this series, and it's perfect for the fall time because you got those witchy vibes. I mean, I'll read witchy shit all year round, but there's something about reading witchy shit in fall that just hits differently. So yes, this is the first book, highly recommend. The next book on this list is The Ravens by Cass Morgan and Daniel Page. So in this book, you're following our 2 main characters, Vivi and Scarlet. It is also a dual POV story. So Scarlet is the president of Kappa Nu, which is a witch sorority on campus, but they're not known to be witches. It's a secret witch sorority, and Vivi goes to the college and she rushes and she gets into Kappa Nu. What she doesn't know is she's a witch, and she quickly learns by being accepted in sorority. She's like, oh my god, what? I'm a witch? You're all witches? What is happening? And it is just a really fun time. It's really hard to get into the plot of the story. I think that's all you really need to know going into the story, is that it's about a hidden witch sorority. Love that, and it's so fun, and again, perfect for this fall time because it's like that back to school. She's rushing, so it's back to school, so it takes place in the fall. You got the witchy vibes. Everything about it is fall vibes. The next book on this list is The Inheritance Game by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. This book follows our main character Avery, and she has just inherited $46.2 billion from a random stranger named Tobias Hawthorne. And the condition of this inheritance that she got from him is that she has to move into his mansion with the family that he just disinherited and live there for a full year, and she will receive the $46.2 billion. And so she's kind of just trying to figure out who this guy is, why he left her the money, and she's exploring this mansion, which is obviously a mansion, but it has all these like trapdoors and hidden hallways and all this stuff. It's very Knives Out vibes, so if you like that, you'll love this book, and I absolutely love this. It is such a fun mystery story. Like, it's just, again, Knives Out is how I describe it. If Knives Out was a genre, that would be this book. And this book is also a trilogy. So this is the first book. The second book is called The Hawthorne Legacy, which came out last year. And then this year, August 30th, The Final Gambit is the final book in the trilogy. It's releasing August 30th. And I am so excited to read that because this has been such a fun trilogy. The next book on this list is Coraline by Neil Gaiman. This is the graphic novel version. I think, is there like a book version of this as well? I'm not really sure. I just know I thrifted this. Okay, got it at Goodwill. I read it and I absolutely love this graphic novel. And what I love about graphic novels is they're so easy to read and they read so quickly as well. So you could just like read this in a day. So this one we're following Coraline. She moves into her new house with her family and she finds like this door and it basically puts her into an alternate universe where she basically finds her family again, but they all have buttons on her eyes and it's really creepy and atmospheric. And where is the pictures? There's pictures, the buttons on the eyes, and it is so creepy. I can't. You'll be like, oh yeah, I know this is meant for spooky season. If spooky season was a graphic novel, it would be this one. Why can't I find it? There it is. That's the picture. Oh my god, so creepy. The next book on this list is also a graphic novel, and it is Pumpkinhead by Rainbow Rowell and Faith Erin Hicks. I absolutely loved this story so much. I cannot wait to reread this fall because I definitely will. Again, graphic novels, so easy to read. I'll read it in a few hours. I just love this story so much. So we're following our two main characters, Deja and Josie, and they work at a pumpkin patch together. It's not even a pumpkin patch. It's like a pumpkin carnival. It is basically a fall carnival. They work at this fall carnival every year, and it is their senior year. They're both going away to college, so it's like kind of the last time they're going to be doing this together. And Josie has a crush on another worker at the carnival. So his best friend Deja kind of brings him around the carnival trying to track down this girl. And every kind of location they go to, she's not there and they have to go to a different location. So it's just about them basically going on this adventure throughout this fall pumpkin patch carnival. And it is such a fun time and I absolutely love this. I love their friendship. I love the illustrations. And again, like, does it not get more fall than this? This is the perfect fall read. It is so much fun. I think you could buy this for like $10 on Amazon. And yeah, I just like highly recommend it. It is just a really fun time. Love. The next book on this list is probably one we've all really read. So it's not really a recommendation as it is, you should probably read this. And this is the perfect time to reread this. And that is Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. I don't know why. I have been having the urge to reread Harry Potter and I really want to read this book. I don't know why. It's just in my brain. I'm like, it's fall time. It is the perfect time for me to start rereading the Harry Potter series. So I don't even want to commit to rereading the whole series. I really just want to read the first book again. And I feel like fall time is the perfect time to do it because of the Hogwarts atmosphere, the back to school element to it, the magic, everything about it is just so warm and cozy. And it just makes you feel good. And that's what I want to feel in fall. Warm and cozy. And that is this series. So like, I'm sure you read it, but if you haven't, read it. And if you have read it, reread it. And the last YA book I have on this list, then we'll get into my adult books, is Truly Devious by Maureen Johnson. So this is the start of the Truly Devious trilogy. So it goes Truly Devious, The Vanishing Stair, then The Hand on the Wall. That completes the trilogy, and then the author is doing standalone novels after that, and I think the one is called Box in the Woods, and then she's coming out with another one, which I believe is 9 Lives. That comes out in December. So you got a lot to catch up on, okay? So first you gotta start with the trilogy. This is Truly Devious. It follows our main character, Stevie, and she goes to Ellingham Academy. Ellingham Academy was created by this billionaire, and people don't have to pay tuition to go there. They get to go there for free, and they get to study whatever they want. And she goes there to study the crime that happened when the place opened. So Ellingham, the guy who opened it, his wife and daughter were kidnapped and murdered. And it was a cold case. No one figured out what happened. Stevie is a true crime enthusiast, and she goes to the school to kind of figure out what happened. And it gives you very much dark academia vibes, cozy mystery vibes. It's like the perfect back to school fall vibes story. So if you read this, you'll definitely want to read the next one and the next one after that. Overall, I thought this series was a good time. I kind of rated all the books 3 stars. Not to say they aren't like, you know, they're not bad. They just didn't like wow me amazing 5 stars, but I definitely am happy that I read them. I did listen to the audiobook for the very last one, The Hand on the Wall, and I highly recommended the audio for that one. So I think if I would have read the whole series on audio, I would have enjoyed it much more. So if you were able to listen to these through your library, through your Libby app, I highly recommend doing the audio version. So now we're getting into my adult books. So the first one on the list is Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. As you can tell, I'm fucking obsessed, like literally obsessed with this book. And this book isn't really even like fall vibes type of book, but they are coming out with a TV adaptation for this story, and they just finished wrapping on it in the summertime, and it's predicted that it's going to premiere either fall, winter, or at the very least beginning of 2023, but we're hoping for a fall winter release. So I'm putting this on this list because the adaptation is coming out very, very soon, and you have to read the book before you read the adaptation. But if you are going to read it, I highly recommend the audio for this one as well because it's a full cast narration. This one we're following in Daisy Jones and the Six, which is a band that became really popular in the 60s, and it's basically about how they came together as a band, their rise as a band, and then their fall. And it's told in interview format, like many years, decades later in life. So yeah, I really think this is a really great book. It's a really amazing story. I'm obviously obsessed with it, and because the adaptation's coming out, like, you have to read it. Like, there's no excuses. You have to read it. And what better time to do it than right before the adaptation comes out? The next book is Payback a Witch by Lana Harper. So this book is following our main character, Emmy, and she is a witch. First of all, I should start off by saying it's like a witchy rom-com story. I love it. It's so good. So we have Emmy. She's a witch, and she has basically exiled herself from her hometown because she had a really bad breakup with one of the other witches, Gareth Blackmore. I guess he'd be considered a warlock. I don't know. Did they even use the term warlock in this book? I don't know. I don't remember that much. I mean, I do remember a lot of it, but I don't remember specifically if they used the term warlock. Anyway, he's also magical, and she has a bad breakup with him, so she leaves the town, but she has to come back into town because there is this big spell casting tournament. So there's basically 4 main magical families in here. So we have Emmy, we have Gareth's family, we have Talia's family, and I forgot the other family in here. Don't remember. But in the spell casting tournament, the winner's family basically gets to be like the most powerful. So they have this tournament every so many years. Emmy comes back for the tournament, and when she gets back, she runs into Talia, which is one of the other witches and one of the other families, and she is also off of a breakup with Gareth, Emmy's ex, as well. And they just want to plot up to get revenge against him and also get revenge against his family because they consistently win the tournament year after year and they don't think it's fair. So they decide to work together, but in the meantime, they fall in love as well. So, oh my god, it's so good. It's a sapphic witch rom-com romance, small town vibes, like literally everything you want in a book. Everything you want in a fall book, or just everything you want in a book in general, like sapphic witch, fall vibes, small town, it's here. It's here. It's amazing. I highly recommend. And the author just came out with another one called From Bad to Cursed, and that one's following 2 of the characters you meet in here as well. So it's going to be like a whole series, and I'm so excited because the small town of Thistle Grove, it's so good. I want to visit. It's so scrumptious and Hallmarkish. You just want to go there. The next book on this list is The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. So Ali Hazelwood's book is coming out soon. It's called Love on the Brain. It's coming out August 23rd. Right now it's like August 18th. It's coming out soon, okay? And I am pumped about it. Pumped about it. But first, I'm recommending this book because I haven't read the other book, but like, it's probably, if I read it, it would probably be on this list. So we have The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. We're following Olive and Adam, and Olive is a PhD student. Adam is a professor, but like, they're not each other's students and professors, you know, they're separate. Anyway, so this is basically an academic Grumpy Sunshine fake dating romance novel, and it's amazing. I loved it so much. My reactions reading this book are actually on this channel if you want to go watch it. I read this in a vlog in January. It was amazing. I highly recommend this book. I had so much fun reading it. I was like, oh my god, that's so cute. Stop. Oh my god, he did what? No, what? I loved it. Okay, and I think it's perfect for fall because it's very school vibes. Fall is back to school, okay? So if you want to read an academic romance, what better time to do it than like September? There's no better time. So highly recommend. The next book on this list is The Atlas 6 by Olivia Blake, and this you have to read because the sequel, The Atlas Paradox, is coming out October. So This is your September read. The Atlas Paradox is your October read. There you go. I already set up your TBR for you. That's all you need to know. This book is about, it's basically the height of dark academia. Like when I think of a dark academia and that whole aesthetic and like books that are dark academia, this is like what I think of. We're following, was it like 5 or 6? I don't remember. There's like 5 or 6 like main characters in this book. You're following it and you're following it from everybody's perspective. And that plot twist at the end. I cannot wait for the sequel. I am gonna say I felt like it was like a complicated plot. Maybe I just listened to the audio too fast, but I felt like the plot was like a little complicated. So I'm gonna be rereading this again, but this time I'm gonna read it physically and also on audio. I mean, sometimes it's hard to listen to fantasy on audio because I don't know. But yeah, I really had a great time reading this book. But yes, I think it would be even better in the fall time. The next book on this list, I probably should start with it first because it is my all-time favorite book. I've read a lot of books this year and this is definitely going to be in my top 5, probably my #1 book of the year. Like, I just like can't see anything else replacing this, and that is The Invisible Life of Adela by V.E. Schwab. I'm obsessed with this book. We've all seen this book. You guys, I literally am so obsessed with this book. I can't even tell you. I think almost every single day I watch like fan-made trailers of Addie and Luke together. Like, Addie, if you're an Addie and Henry stan, like, what are you doing? Like, you're missing the point of the book. I don't know what you're doing. Just kidding. I'm not being serious. Don't hate me. But, like, what are you doing? I watch Addie and Luke trailers, like, every single day with, like, the audio book narration, like, amazing songs in the background, and then just, like, clips of, like, actors that look like them. And it's just like, oh my God. So good. Like, I'm obsessed. Like, you know how people are like addicted to reading like fan fiction? Like, I'm addicted to watching like fan-made trailers of these two characters. So this one we're following our main character Addie, and she basically has been cursed because she prayed to the gods that answered after dark, and she gets cursed to live immortal, but no one can remember her. So literally as soon as she like leaves a room and comes back in the room, like people are like, who are you? Until one day she meets a man named Henry and he remembers her. And oh my God, it's so good. I really want to reread this book. This is like on like my top priority reread list, but then I also have such a massive TBR, I'd like never get to that reread list, but this is at the top of it. I really recommend the audiobook because it's narrated by Julia Whelan, which is Julia Whelan. Like, that's all I have to tell you. It's narrated by Julia Whelan, and that should just be like, okay, like, I'm pausing your video, I'm going to download the audiobook, and I'm just gonna listen to it now. Because, like, what else do you need to know? She did an amazing job. Her voice and V.E. Schwab's writing, like, I never knew something could be so beautiful. I highly, highly, highly recommend this book. I want to get this, like, tattooed on me. Like, you see this little constellation with her freckles on it? Like, just put it on my skin. Like, I want that tattoo so badly. The next book on this list is The Thursday Murder Club by Richard Osman. So this book, is it Osman? I don't know. But, like, props to you, man, because I fucking love your book. I gave it 5 stars. So this is a cozy mystery book. And what better time to read mysteries than in the fall? And then especially cozy mysteries, cozy vibes, fall times, cozy mysteries. It all goes together so well. So this is a cozy mystery book, and you're following our amateur sleuths, our senior citizens. It's like 4 senior citizens. They have a murder mystery club called the Thursday Murder Club. It's a true crime club. And wow, how many times can I say club in like 30 seconds? I don't know. So basically in this book, we're following these 4 senior citizens, and they live in a retirement community, and they're building a new project there. And then the developer for that project ends up being murdered, and our 4 people are like, I wonder what happened. Then there's like another body found, and it is so fun. It is so funny. It's the perfect mystery novel. It has another book after this called, I don't know, but instead of like red, it's blue. And then there's another one coming out, and I don't know if it's coming out at the end of this year or in 2023. And then the border's green. I don't know. But all I know is I love this series. I highly recommend. And like cozy mysteries, fall vibes, we get it. The next book on this list is Bunny by Mona Awad. Oh my God, I love this book. I mean, to be fair, I've loved every single book I've recommended to you guys, but I love this book, and the cover, it's so cute. So this book, we're following Samantha Heather Mackey. Her name's Smack. Well, her friend calls her Smacky, but it's Samantha. It's a tongue twister. Samantha Heather Mackey. Smacky. I get why she calls her Smacky. Okay, so we have this book. This book is also like dark academia, but it's like girly horror dark academia. It's like amazing. If you love American Horror Story, like hello me, you'll love this book. It's so good. So we're following Samantha Smacky, and she is in a little class, and then there's 4 other girls in the class, or 4 or 5, I don't know. I'm really bad with details. And they are the bunnies. They call themselves the bunnies, and they are cult, like, they're always calling each other bunny. They're like, hello, bunny. Hi, bunny. I missed you, bunny. I love your dress, bunny. That's how they talk. Oh my God, I love it. And they have this thing called the Smut Salon. One day they invite Samantha to be part of their Smut Salon, and chaos ensues from there. It is so amazing. Oh my God. And after this, you just have to go on YouTube. You have to go on Reddit. You have to look at the fan conspiracy theories, and you have to watch interviews with Mona Wad, because like literally when I tell you, like, this is no pun intended. After reading this book, you're going to go down a rabbit hole. That's just it is. Like, there's no pun meant to be there, but like, you know how they say, oh, you go down the rabbit hole? Like, that's this book. I went down like conspiracy theory rabbit hole. Like, what is this book truly about? What is it about? Like, so basically this book, how I describe it is you read it once. It's great. It's a fun time. You read the fan theories about it. Then you have to reread it, and then it's like you fully read it, right? Like, I feel like you have to read this book twice to truly like have opinions and understand it. I'm in the middle of my second reread. I've been slowly rereading this because like, it's hard for me to do rereads. I got a big TBR, okay? But I've been trying to reread and tab it to like see like what theory I think is correct on what it's truly about. And yes, really recommend it. It was a lot of fun. The next book on this list is The Sundown Hotel by Simone St. James, and also the other book I'm going to recommend is this book by Simone St. James. We're going to talk about that next, okay? But like, we love her. She is a ghost writing queen. We love it. So The Sundown Motel, first of all, I love this cover. It's so like, oh my God, I love the aesthetic, the atmosphere. It's a very atmospheric read. So is her other book. It's very atmospheric. So we're following our 2 main characters. It's told in dual POVs. We have Viv and Carly. So Viv goes to work at the Sundown Motel in the 1980s, and she disappears. Carly is Viv's niece, and she goes to work at the Sundown Motel in 2017, and she goes there to basically kind of find out what happened to her Aunt Viv. So she's kind of doing the same job that she did to just try to see what happened to her and see if she can investigate. And the the motel is haunted. All these like ghostly things are happening. It's a really fun time. I highly recommend it. I could not put this book down. That's something I find with Simone St. James. I start reading it and like I need to plan to read them when I have nothing to do. So I'll be like, oh, I'll just read a chapter in the morning before I start working. And then it's like, oh, the middle of the day, I haven't done any work because all I did was read this book, because it's literally impossible to put down. So clear your schedule for when you decide to pick this up, because like you're not gonna do anything after you read the first chapter. You're gonna be like, oh, I need to read the second, then I need to read the third, then I need to read the fourth. The next book on this list is The Book of Cold Cases by Simone St. James, my paranormal queen. The way I describe this book is paranormal Evelyn Hugo. So we have our 2 main characters. So we have, I'm so bad at names, you guys. I promise you, I read these books. I love these books, but the details, like, I don't even know how many books I read this year. I don't know, but like details like names just like escape my brain. So we have, we have Shia and Beth. That's right. So Shia is a true crime enthusiast, and then Beth has been like suspected of being like this female serial killer, and she goes to Beth's house to figure out what happens, and all these spooky ghostly things happen at the house, and it's like such a fun time. I highly recommend. The next book on this list is Home Before Dark by Riley Sager. If you love this book, you'll also love this book. Like, to me, these books are so similar. So this book, you're following our main character. I just read it. I should remember her name, but again, eludes me. Her name is Maggie, and Maggie, when she grew up, her parents moved her into this house, and this house had a reputation. So in this house's reputation, it was like a murder house. Like, honestly, this gives me like American Horror Story murder house vibes. I don't know why. That's just like what it gives me. So she moves into this house with her parents when she's a kid. They only live there 20 days, and then her parents take her out and they move elsewhere. Her dad writes a book basically about their time in the house, and it's just like, it becomes an international sensation, okay? Everybody knows about her and her life in this house, and it's supposedly because her dad was saying they were haunted. So she goes back as an adult, because as a kid, she's like, the house wasn't haunted. Like, he was a liar. Like, what is happening? Her dad passes away, and she inherits the house, which is surprising to her because she thought he had sold it. Anyway, so she goes to the house to renovate it, to try to flip it, and she starts noticing things happening, and she's like, oh my god, was my dad right? Is this house haunted? And it was a really fun time. I highly, highly recommend. And what I love, love, love about this book is how it's told, because every other chapter is like an alternating chapter. So in the first, like, in the one set of chapters, you're following Maggie in real time. And in the other set of chapters, you're reading her dad's book that he wrote and published that became this international sensation. So it's really, really fun. And yeah, I love, love, love this book. Haunted house vibes all the way. American Horror Story vibes all the way. And the next book on this list, and the last physical book I have, because the last two I listened to on audio, I don't own them physically, but the last like physical book I have to show you guys is The Guest List by Lucy Foley. So this book is told in 6 different perspectives, which I love the multiple POV. I just, like, as you can tell, I love any book that has multiple point of views, a dual point of views. I just know, I find them more interesting to get inside all the characters' heads as opposed to just one character's head. So this book is about these 6 people. They go to a wedding and somebody dies and somebody murders them, and you don't know who's the dead person and who's the murderer until the very end, right? So as you're reading them, you don't even know who's the person who's going to die. And that's also part of the fun of it, because you're trying to guess, like, who's gonna die, who's the killer. And it's a really fun time. I love this book because it's very heavy on atmosphere, right? This is like the perfect atmospheric read, and it was just a lot of fun. I rated it 3 stars. I'm not saying it's like the best book in the world, but it's definitely a recommendation for the atmosphere alone, and it's just like a fun time, right? And it's really not that long as well. Lucy Foley came out with another book this year called The Paris Apartment. Nope, don't recommend, don't read that. But this one, yes, I would recommend reading. Okay, the next book I'm going to be recommending, I don't have it, I listened to it on audio, and that is The Maid by Nita Prose. This one, you're following Molly the maid, and she is a neurodivergent maid, and I just love listening to the audiobook because I think the narrator did a really great job with the story. I don't know if the story would have had the same effect if I read it physically, but in this book, we're following Molly the maid, and she goes to clean one of the rooms, and there is a dead body in the room, and it's basically about who is that person, why are they dead, what happened, what's going on in this hotel. And it was, again, a really amazing story. This one, the film rights were actually bought to, and I think Florence I don't know how to pronounce her last name. Florence, it starts with a P. She is going to be starring in it, and oh my god, I cannot wait for this adaptation to come out. I love Molly the maid so much. Like, you feel so invested into her, and you love her so much because she's just like so sweet and innocent. The people who wrong her, you just want to be like, I hate you. And then the people who are nice to her, you're like, yes, I love you, your family, you're amazing. It's just such a fun story. It's a great time. It's a great, like, cozy mystery, and it's a hotel setting, and I love hotel settings. It's like one of my favorite settings I'm discovering. This is like a recent, like, discovery of myself. Hotel settings, yes, love that shit. Eat it up. It's so much fun. So yeah, highly recommend. This one I gave 5 stars too, so I think it's like the perfect time to read it in the fall, because like murder mystery fall time, like, it makes sense. And the last book on this recommendation book is Look What You Made Me Do by Elaine Murphy. Is that the name of it? Wait, hold on. Oh no, I thought I said the sequel's name. So this is the sequel. It's called I Told You This Would Happen, also by Elaine Murphy. I got the names mixed up. Okay, so Look What You Made Me Do by Elaine Murphy. I don't own this one physically because like the cover's ugly. Listen to it on audio. If I listen to it on audio and I like it, I will buy the physical, but like the cover was ugly, so there was no need for it. But this book, we're following our 2 main characters, Becca and Carrie. And Carrie's sister is a serial killer. Becca's a serial killer, and she blackmails Carrie into helping her hide the bodies of her victims. And it's just all chaotic from there. They get into a cat and mouse game with another serial killer who's like blackmailing them. And it's just a really fun, spooky time. Not spooky, but it's like fun. I don't know. It's like, it's not spooky, but it's like not scary, but like, I don't know what I'm trying to articulate here, but it's a great time. It's basically Finley Donovan, but if Finley Donovan's sister was a serial killer. Like, that's it. You know what I mean? It's like the Finley Donovan vibes, but like a little more graphic than that. Like, I remember there was one scene at the end that's like a little graphic, so, you know, like whatever. But yeah, that's how I would describe it. It was a very fun time. Highly recommend reading it because I feel like no one talks about this book, and it's so good, so I must spread the word so other people read it and we can get this book, have hype around it. Because you know the second book that came out, this one doesn't have an audiobook to it? Why? The first one has an audiobook. Why isn't the second one? Because no one Like maybe not enough people read the first one or listened to the audiobooks. They're like, we're not gonna waste our money making an audiobook for the second one, but like I need an audiobook for this because like I suck at reading things physically, so like I need an audiobook for it. So like I'm trying to build hype around it so everyone loves the series. Then publishers like, oh shit, like we need to create an audiobook for the second one. Yeah, so I hope you guys enjoy this video. I will see you guys in the next one. If you end up reading any of these fall recommendations, like come back to me, drop some comments, be like, oh yeah, I love that one. Oh no, I didn't love that one. Let me know. Let a girl know. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.